What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Remember in the last video we were working on the Camry and we just got it back from the auction and the car would not start up, and it sounded like the starter to me, and a lot of you guys commented in the last video that it was probably a starter, so I went and bought a starter. So let's try the starter out and see if that's going to fix it. Alright, this is the starter I got. I went to AutoZone. It was the only one in my area that had it in stock. Everywhere else had to order it, and it was super easy to get to it. Just had to take the air box out, this shroud right here, and another little box, and it's just two bolts holding it in right here. You got a battery cable here and then a wire here, and that's basically it. Super easy job. So hopefully this is it. Let's try to get it in. Be nice if that was the only thing that was keeping this car from running. I'm probably gonna have to plug the mass airflow sensor back in to get the car to run right. I might try to just crank it over with that off first. I think I remember reading you got to put 52 foot-pounds of torque on those bolts. Okay, there's that cable. Alright, I went ahead and torqued everything down. And I'm gonna just put this mass airflow sensor back on just so it won't throw any codes. I'm not gonna put the box or nothing else. I'm gonna put the battery cable on. Hopefully this is like a 15-minute fix. Alright, let's try it out. Alright, well the engine's turning over now, so the starter was one issue, but it's still not cranking up, so I don't know what's going to be the next issue. So I'm going to probably have to put the code reader on it and see what that's going to tell me. So let's try that out. Alright guys, so I scanned the codes. I used this blue driver and it uses my phone and it sends it Bluetooth all the stuff that's the codes that it picks up, and it basically picked up 22 codes, but most of that was from the dead battery. I cleared those, and there's two codes left, and that's the crank position sensor, and then the throttle body says it's stuck closed. So the crank position sensor could be a big deal. That could be the tire timing chain jumped off, or it could just be the actual sensor. So here's the throttle body, which is horrible. It's corroded up. So that's definitely a problem. So I'll probably have to take that off and clean it. And then I'll have to try to find the crank position sensor. I'm sure it's somewhere toward the bottom. So got a little work cut out for us. Try to keep working at it and see if I can get this fixed. Yeah, the throttle body's definitely stuck. I put an axe to put on the accelerator to get the throttle body flap to move. I took it off already, but if you look at the back of it, it is unbelievably horrible. So I don't know if it was some old gas just sit in it or what. So I'm gonna try to clean this up, see if I can save it. All right, I've been cleaning it with some carb cleaner and scraping all the gunk out and cleaning it with paper towels. And I have it soaking in this now. And it's actually starting to work. Let me show you what it's doing now. So if you spring it open, it actually opens now. When you let off, it closes. So it looks like it's actually functioning. I'm gonna keep cleaning on it a little bit longer, and I think we were able to salvage this. So that's gonna be the second problem. We got the starter fixed, got this unstuck, and then I guess the last thing is gonna be that crank sensor. So hopefully that one's pretty easy too. Yeah, this is working good now. It's the next day and I'm still working on this car, so let me show you what all I've done so far. Alright, I've taken it apart. Alright, remember I had the two codes. I had the throttle body was stuck closed, so I got that fixed. It's still, I don't have it on yet. And then I had the crank position sensor, which is way down here. So I took this out and I tested it with the meter, and it's reading like 4,000 ohms, so I'm pretty sure that's bad. It should be between, I think, 800 ohms to 1,300. So I put my compression tester on it, and I was reading like 30 pounds, 50, 20, and 80. And so I got to thinking maybe a head gasket's blown. But I went ahead and I put some Marvel Mystery Oil down in each spark plug hole, and I let that sit overnight, and I put a little oil with it, and now I'm testing it and I'm getting 110 basically on all of them. 100, 110, 115. So maybe it's all good. Plus I wanted to see if the timing chain was right, because one of the issues with that crank position sensor is your whole timing could jump off, and maybe that would be the reason you was getting a code. So I want to take that off and make sure it was right. So now this looks good. I'm getting compression, so I was gonna just take the head off because I assumed that the head gasket was bad. So I may just put it all back together, put the new crank position sensor in, and see if it'll crank up. All right, I'm gonna put the valve cover back on first and just go from there. Alright, I got all this back together, got all the sensors, spark plugs back in. Now we'll put my clean new throttle body, well not new, but cleaned up throttle body. Alright, so the last step is I'm going to put this crank position sensor in, and it goes way up in here, right there. It'd be so nice if his car would run after this. It still may have a blown head gasket, I don't know, but it's so hard to troubleshoot a car that's not running. So I at least want to get it back running and then troubleshoot from there. So let me put the camera down and tighten that up. Alright, that's it. I'm going to put the negative cable on. Give it a try. I don't have everything hooked up, but I have enough hooked up to make it crank up, if it's going to crank. Guess next I need to see if I'm getting spark to the spark plugs. Alright, since the car's not cranking, I think we just need to go to like start from the beginning. Check each little thing. We need spark, we need air, we need exhaust, and we need fuel. So I'm not 100% sure that this throttle body is opening up. Even though I can move it like this, it may stay closed. The gears in it may be broken, so I think one way I can manually open it while Tyler cranks it. And also checked all the fuses, they're good. And I noticed I'm not hearing the fuel pump kick on, so I don't really know how to test for fuel pressure. I know you have to have a special tool to get this off right here to separate it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to test if I'm getting good fuel pressure. But we can pull the back seat out, and if you turn the key on, I ought to be able to feel the fuel pump kick on some. And we'll test the spark plugs. I can't really get this down in there because it's about that deep. So we may have to take the spark plug out and then ground the spark plug on the side just to see if we're getting spark. So we're just going to take it one step at a time and get it figured out. So first, I guess I'll rip the back seat out. You turn the key to the on spot and we see if we can feel the fuel pump.
All right.
See, I think you just rip it up. Oh, it's full of junk under here.
A lot of trash.
Let's see. Oh, we got a chain. Must have been a gangster grandma on this car. I looked up who owned it, and it's like a 60-year-old lady from New Orleans. We got a letter.
What's that card back there?
Love letter. Yours truly. We have to read that. Too bad there's no money in it. Pay for some parts. Alright, here's the access to the fuel pump. So if you turn the key, give me the camera, just turn it, don't crank it, just turn it to the on position. And I'm going to see if I can feel it. Nothing. I would think I would be able to hear it or feel a little bit of a vibration. Do it again. Nothing. So that may be the issue, the whole issue with the car. One other check we could do, since it's not getting fuel, if I open the throttle body and shoot some starting fluid in it, maybe it'll crank over that way. You want to try that?
Yeah.
That way we'll know if it's getting spark too. So we'll set the camera up and I'll manually hold the throttle body open because I don't think it's opening it. So I'll do that and spray some and see if we can get it to fire.
Okay.
Alright, crank it when I tell you. I'm going to get this opened up. Ready? Go ahead. fired. So I think the whole issue may be no fuel. Because it fires whenever we spray the starting fluid. So I need to find a way to test the fuel pressure, see if we're even getting any fuel pressure. All right, we're getting closer and closer with it. We finally got the car to crank up for about 3 seconds, which I still have a lot of oil that I poured down in each spark plug hole, and that helped with compression. And this car was neglected bad. Even the brakes, they've never been changed. They're all the way down past that little tab that cuts into the rotor. So we're just gonna keep working. We're not gonna be able to do any more today because it's Halloween and we got a party tonight, so we're working outside cleaning up. So if you know any way that I can test the fuel pressure, comment below whatever you used. I guess that's where you would test it at. You would disconnect it here and test it. And if you got any other suggestions of what it could be, just please definitely let me know. But I think we're gonna have it running probably the next time we work on it, with your help, of course. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video. I can't think of anything else. It's good news that we got it to fire up for a few seconds, so that's definitely good. We'll probably update a little more on Instagram if you want to follow us there at Swamp Boys Garage. We do a lot more updating on that since we only put out one video every Friday night. So just follow us there, stay up to date, and we will see you next time.